Hey guys, Aiyulol here. Today it's going to be a little bit of a different video. I thought I would show you how to set up Bynnark, which is a way to track all of your characters and what you've done and haven't done on them every day. Now, if you didn't know already, when you hit level 50 and finish the Vern story on your first character, you get 2 power passes that let you boost 2 more level 50 characters for free. Now, 3 characters is a little fine and well, and maybe for some of you with those big brains, you can keep track of what you've done on everything, but for people like me, the more characters you have, the harder that becomes. In Korea, it's worth noting that there is an in-game function to do all this, but until then, we will have to use Bynnark, as it is the best way, in my opinion, to track your homework and daily tasks for the day. So the first thing you have to do is go to Bynnark. I will have a link in the description below. Now, if the site isn't already in English, you can go to Settings, Preferences, and click English, and make sure you also select the right region. So for me, I've been playing on US East, so I'll select that. The next thing you'll have to do is go over to Expedition and click Character. Now you can see I've already added one of my main characters, but I'll be adding the rest of my characters here to show you. Now this actually doesn't have to be your real character's name, but for my OCD, I'll just do that anyway. So I'll put my character's name and then go down to class, click class and select your class. I have 3 bards, so I'll just be adding my second bard here, and then you'll have a few options to pick from. So the first option is your color, and if you want, you can change the color of the class or the color of the label if you want to speak, the portrait. And then you'll put in your level. This is your combat level. So I'll just go ahead and click level 50, and then the item level here is 340, and you'll have to put all these in manually. And for this button here, you can actually see it's still in Korean, and this button basically connects your Bynnark to the API of the game, which lets them pull your character data from the actual server. So in Korea, if I just put in my character name and my class, it will automatically pull the level of the character, the item level, and so on. But unfortunately for NA, the API is not connected, and I don't know if we'll ever get one, considering that there will be an in-game version of this launching later. So for now, this doesn't really do anything, and you can just put these in manually. I've go ahead and added all my characters here, and that's basically it for this step. Now we have to go to the To Do tab and click on it. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing here, so I'll just teach you how to set it up. The first thing you'll want to do is make a table, and you can just name it anything like dailies, or I'll just call it homework actually. And you can choose the table color and the column color and the row color, but it doesn't matter. I will leave these widths and everything the defaults, and I'll just click add, and you can see I've made a homework table. Now, if you want to have different tables, you can do that by hitting the plus button and adding another table. So I can call this, maybe if I was on a different server, for example, I could call this Una, and then I can switch between these two as I like. And if we're going with that, actually, maybe I'll go over here and I'll click on table settings, and I'll name this Regulus. So this can be helpful if you're playing on different servers or if you're playing multiple accounts, even though technically you aren't supposed to. For now, I'm actually not playing on any other servers, so I'll just go ahead and delete this. Now that you have a table set up, you have to hit this plus button, and you can add columns, rows, row dividers, and column dividers. So the first thing I'll do is go ahead and add a column. And as you can see here, when you add a column, you have various options. So for the column color, the column width, I just like to leave these on the base value, but you can go ahead and make them pretty afterwards if you want to. Now you have various options, but mainly the reason for making columns is to add your characters. So as you can see, it defaults to the character column menu, and all I have to do is click on my character, and all the characters that we entered before will show up here. So I'll go ahead and add my main, Aiyulol, and then if you want to add a nickname for this character, you can write, like, for example, main bard, and hit add, and it will show up as that nickname. But for now, I don't want to have any nicknames, so I'll go ahead and click modify. And the way you bring up this menu to modify is by right clicking here, and it will bring up this option. If I made a mistake, I can delete it if I want. So I'll go ahead and add all my characters here. Now I've gone ahead and added all my characters, and you can see here that the names for some of my characters are cut off, and that's through the column width. So I'll just go ahead and fix this real quick by right clicking and going to the column width and maybe increasing it. And then as you can see here, it adds a bunch of padding to it, and I kind of like how that looks, so I'll actually go ahead and do that for all of my characters. And you can just keep playing with it, but maybe I'll even increase the column width even more to 5 to 4 actually. And that gives just my characters a little bit more breathing room. So now that I have all my characters added, I'll go ahead and add a row. And as you can see for a row, there's actually a lot of different settings you can do. So the first thing you want to look at is indefinite day and week. This is what determines when the bin arc will automatically reset based on the daily reset or the weekly reset. So for example, if you add a row for a chaos dungeon, you'll want to click the day option because chaos dungeon resets every day. For some things like ghost ship, it resets once a week, so you want to click on the week option. And then for indefinite, obviously this will last forever. So first I'll be making an indefinite row. I'm just going to go ahead and write eye level, and you can click this icon here to change the icon and pick whatever you think works best. But for me, I will put a star to show the item level. So now I can go over here and right click it to bring up this to do setting, and I can actually go to character and select the right character here. That's Aiyulol, and the character property I want to put here is again item level, and I'll go over down here and click item level and click modify, and it will pull the item level data from whatever I had it set up on the characters sheet here in the expedition. Unfortunately, this won't update by itself like it does in Korea as you level up, but for now it's just a basic idea, just so I don't get my 3 bards confused. If you have multiple different characters that aren't the same class, or you're better at recognizing your own characters' names than I am, you can probably just skip this step entirely. So go ahead and repeat this for all my characters. And then the next thing I'll do is add a row divider, and right click this, and I can just set the row color. So I can set it something like blue, like modify, and I'll have a row divider so I can start the next section of my table. And actually this is looking a little too thick for me, so I'll make it a little bit thinner. Actually, let's go ahead and make that 1. And then now I can just keep adding the rows. So the first thing I do every day is a chaos dungeon, so I'll go ahead and click day, and then I'll go and select the icon for a chaos dungeon, which is this, and then I'll just call this chaos dungeon. There we go. And then it'll automatically make 4 checkboxes for each of your characters. So when you've done the chaos dungeon for the day, you can just go ahead and click it and it'll be done. And the next day on server reset, this will have automatically refreshed and it will untick all the checkboxes. And that's basically it. So I'll just go through here and add all the things I want to do every day. And you don't have to set this up right away, but as you think of things you want to do in the game and keep track of, you can just go ahead and add them to your bin arc. So I'll just go ahead and click on add row, and the next thing I do every day is guardians. So I'll click on day, click on the checkbox, and this is a guardian raid, so I'll just type in guardian, click on add, and that's done. Next thing I do every day is the Una's task. So make sure you click on day or it won't reset when server resets, and make sure you click on the Una's task icon just to make it look nice, and I'll just type in Una. Click add, and that's done. And then as for dailies, there is one more thing I do, which is the daily rapport. So I can actually go ahead and click on an icon for rapport and click rapport. Now actually it can be useful to write down exactly which rapports you're doing instead of just having a checkbox. So I'll actually go ahead and add another row, and we'll just call this we'll just make this a text row and select the same icon for rapport. And I can write, for example, NPC, and I can just drag this above to reposition it. And NPC here, now I can right click and add text. For example, if I'm doing Thyrane on my main, I can write Thyrane, and I believe you can write multiple lines as well. So Sasha, for example, and that way you can keep track of which NPCs you're doing, or you can even add a new row if you want to have the location as well. For now, I'll leave mine blank because I actually don't know what I'm doing, so I'll leave this for later. And then at the end here, I'm just going to go ahead and add another row divider. Again, I'll change the color to maybe teal this time, and I'll make the row height 1. So now I want to put in only weekly tasks, so I'll add another row, and this time I'll click week, and the things I want to do every week are the weekly Unas, so I'll just call this Una again, add that in, there we go, and then I'll add another row, click week, click the icon, and just what else I want to do. So I want to do a ghost ship every week, and I'll just call this ghost ship, hopefully it fits. And it does. And ghost ship is actually shared once per roster, so I don't need 4 checkboxes. I can actually just get away with 1. So if you want to remove a checkbox, the easiest way is to just right click and then make it a text box and click modify, and it will be empty. So I'll just go ahead and do that and get rid of all these checkboxes. And that's done. Go ahead and click add row. Think about what else I want to do every week. And one of them is the abyssal dungeon, which is this icon here. So I'll go ahead and write abyss dungeon. Click add, and it actually gets cut off, so I'll go over to my table settings here and just increase the row header width to maybe 5, and that way I can write more stuff. Of course, if you don't mind writing just abyss, you can just do that, but for me, I think this makes it look a little nicer. And I can actually go ahead and add back dungeon to this guardian raid. Now for now, that's all I'll add to this section. But as you think of more stuff, you can go ahead and add that. Now I'll just add one last row divider here. Maybe I'll make this one red and I'll make the row height 1, and then I'll go ahead and add a row for pirate coins. Now if you didn't know, you can exchange mats from the pirate ship vendor every week, so I'm going to add a reminder for myself so I don't forget to do that before the weekly reset. I'm going to make this a weekly reset and click pirate coin exchange. I want to do the same thing for the guild exchange, the bloodstones guild exchange, and then I'll actually also add a section for a daily task which tells me to remember to contribute to the guild contribution, and I'll go ahead and drag that up to the daily section and just make sure this is on week because I think I forgot it and I did, and that's it. So Bynnark is really customizable and you can go ahead and do this in any way that you want. I just wanted to show you guys a quick way to set it up and maybe just explain some things that it took me a while to figure out. Now I can actually download this file and send it to you. So if you want a fast way to set this up, you can actually just download the file here, click select and upload the file, and it will copy over my presets that I've just set up today. Obviously the characters will be different, so you'll have to go back into Expedition, into characters, right click and delete all my characters and add your own. And then if you go back into to do, there'll be a question mark. So if you add back in the character here, for example, this would be your character instead of mine. Click add, select your class, add, and then you'll have to do the level again, of course. And then if you go back into to do, you'll have to just right click on character column and select the character that you've added. Thanks for watching. This has been Ayu, and until next time, bye you.